AITA for telling my SIL to practice keeping her opinions to herself because she doesn't get a say in how my kids eat. I'm a stay-at-home dad with 2 kids. My SIL has traditional views about parenting and believes mothers should take responsibility at home. She always criticizes me over meals for kids, how my approach wouldn't work in the real world. I can't hold in anymore and snap back at her. She stormed off, and now my brother is relaying her outrage through texts. I'm 30M, a stay-at-home dad. My wife, 29F, and I have 2 kids together. Our oldest is 4 and our youngest is 18 months. I became the stay-at-home parent when our oldest was born. My brother, 36M, is married to SIL, 39F, and they have 5 kids together between the ages of 4 and 10. SIL was stunned when I became the stay-at-home parent versus my wife. She has a more traditional view of marriage and family and believes the mom is more important in the home than the dad, and that the dad is more important as the provider. Stunned and traditional are her choice of words, just so you're aware. So I always felt like she was more critical of me as a parent. Maybe not in clear ways before now, but her attitude made me feel like she was watching closely to see if I was good enough. The way my wife and I feed our kids is different to how my SIL and my brother feed their kids. SIL believes in 3 meals a day, no matter what the age, and nothing more or less. She believes that is the way it has been done for centuries, and it works. My wife and I approach it differently. We feed the kids smaller, more frequent meals and snacks. Because of this, I carry around lunch boxes for both my kids that have foods they eat throughout the day if we go anywhere. And at home, my wife or I have stuff pre-made and ready to go. This means my kids eat little meals or snacks every 3-ish hour. Not large quantities, but smaller and more frequent than my nieces and nephews. SIL thinks it's insanity, and she has told me I make more work for myself and claims I'm trying to be different because I'm a dad doing the primary caregiving. She told me I should practice doing things differently because in the real world, this stuff won't work, and preschool and school won't allow for this, which isn't true with where we have chosen to send our kids to school, but she doesn't want to hear that. I spoke to my brother about his wife's comments on the choices my wife and I made to feed our kids and how it's not helpful or needed. He said he knew, but that it's just how she is. I told him if she keeps it up, she will be told to shut up, maybe or maybe not in a nicer way. He just shrugged. I hit this limit on Friday when SIL saw me out with the kids and my dad and Phil. The 3 of us grocery shop together some Fridays. She brought it up out of nowhere because she saw the bag I keep the lunch boxes in. She didn't even see them eat anything but needed to say something. She told me I should practice better eating habits, and I told her she should practice keeping her opinions to herself because she doesn't get a say in how my kids eat, and she doesn't get to open her big mouth about it every time she sees me now. She stormed off outraged, and there have been multiple texts from her and my brother since. He's mostly just telling me what she's saying, but she is big mad. AITA, relevant comments. Commenter, NTA. It just seems to me that SIL feels personally attacked by a man filling familial responsibilities traditionally done by women, and from the looks of it, doing a good job of it too. It's her problem, and she's trying to make it yours by nitpicking at your every action. OP. Thank you. I do get the sense she has some personal issue with a dad doing the day-to-day stuff. I'll never understand why it has the be the mom doing that while the dad has to be the provider. Sure, it works for some, but families come in so many shapes and sizes now, and it should be about what works best for each family and what's realistic for each family. Commenter. My guess it probably goes back to SIL's own family growing up. Traditional setups deeply rooted in her, or perhaps jealous if her own father was uninvolved. Commenter. She was never allowed to learn any other skills or pursue any other ambition. If she accepts men can also care for children, she has to accept she could have made different choices herself, instead of blindly accepting the role she was raised to believe was her only option. Story 2. AITA for refusing to take care of my sick mother. I, 27F, have always had a distant relationship with my mother, 55F. Growing up, she prioritized her career, leaving my care to nannies and my grandmother. She missed birthdays, school events, and important milestones, always saying she was working for our future. This made me feel neglected, and over time, I stopped trying to get close to her. When I turned 18, I moved out and focused on building my own life. We stayed in touch, but our relationship remained superficial. I resented her for years of emotional neglect, and she never acknowledged how her choices affected me. Over time, I accepted that we would never have the close mother-daughter bond I always wanted. Recently, my mother was diagnosed with a chronic illness, and everything changed. She reached out, asking if I could move back home to take care of her. I was shocked. This was the same woman who never had time for me, and now she expected me to put my life on hold to care for her. I live in another city with a stable job, and I've worked hard to create my own independence. When I suggested hiring professional care, she insisted that having me there would be better for her emotionally. She even said this could be a chance for us to rebuild our relationship. It was the first time she had ever acknowledged that there was something wrong between us, but I felt conflicted. Was this genuine, or was she using her illness to guilt me into helping her? My family, especially my aunt, believes it's my duty as her daughter to take care of her. They say my mother worked hard to provide for me, and now I should repay that by being there for her. But I don't think it's that simple. Yes, she provided financially, but she was emotionally absent for most of my life. Why should I sacrifice my own life now when she never prioritized me? My mother has been calling me almost every day, telling me how much worse her condition is getting and how much she needs me. She's even started crying, which is something I've never seen her do before. It's making me feel guilty, but it also makes me angry. Where was this emotional side when I needed her? Why is she only reaching out now that she needs something from me? I feel torn. On one hand, she's my mother, and she's vulnerable. Maybe I'm being too harsh. But on the other hand, I feel like this is manipulative. She's trying to rewrite the story of our relationship now that it benefits her. I've built a life for myself, and I'm afraid of losing my independence by moving back home. Am I selfish for wanting to keep living my life instead of becoming her caregiver? My family thinks I'm in the wrong and that I'll regret it if something happens to her. But I can't ignore the years of hurt and neglect. Should I really set aside my feelings just because she's sick? AITA for refusing to take care of her? Relevant comments. Commenter. NTA. Your mother made the choice to prioritize her career over spending time with you, and now she expects you to sacrifice your own life to take care of her. It is not your responsibility to repay her financially for the choices she made, especially when she did not provide the emotional support you needed during your childhood. It is understandable that you feel conflicted, but ultimately, you have built a life for yourself and have the right to make choices that prioritize your own happiness and independence. Commenter. It's quite ironic the mother wants OP to give up her life and career, the same thing her mother couldn't be bothered to give up to raise her own child. IDK how OP didn't burst out laughing when her mom said hired help won't give her the emotional support she needs. I wonder if it even crossed her mind that she admitted hiring help to raise her kid meant OP wasn't emotionally supported. Commenter. I 100% agree with this. However, we don't know if or how much OP has talked to or tried to talk to their mom out how they feel and how their childhood affected them. I fully support OP declining the mother's request, but I would include with it an explanation of why. This obviously isn't something that OP is obligated to do, but I think it could be a starting point for an actual in-depth conversation about mom's shortcomings when OP was younger. Also, it gives OP a way to somewhat prevent the mom from going to family members and saying that OP abandoned her for no reason. Story 3. AITA for not engaging with my sister during my pregnancy. I, 28F, am now 3 months along in my pregnancy. My husband and I have been trying to conceive for many years. My sister, 30F, had offered be our surrogate if it had come down to it, and I would have paid every cent of that. We have always had a rocky relationship, so the fact that she brought this up meant a lot to me. Not long after, she had asked for childcare for one of her daughters. She has a 9-year-old girl and the youngest girl who would turn 1 in a month. I am a state licensed in home daycare. I can't just take up one kid when I have a ratio to maintain. Also, she wanted it to be for free, which I didn't agree to. It would only be for a week, sure, no problem. But her regular daycare lady had an emergency and couldn't watch the children for that week. I couldn't accommodate that, especially if I needed to remove one paying child for another who wouldn't pay me. It's not as if she was asking for care outside of my work hours. This is my job. Anyway, we ended the conversation on a good note and had small conversations after that. I never knew how much this conversation had impacted her until recently. To point out, we never set up anything official to have her be our surrogate, as my husband and I were still going through our infertility testing and dealing with all of that. A month after that child care conversation was her daughter's first birthday party. It was 70s theme, and I offered to buy the decorative cookies. At the party, she never talked to us. Not a hello, not a thank you for the cookies and the gift. She had called people over to take pictures with the baby, but never us. Handed the baby off to everyone, not us. She even bought our immediate family matching 70s outfits, except for us. Our parents, our brother and his daughter, and then her family, which are the two girls and her youngest's father, all had matching outfits. We left there feeling uncomfortable and embarrassed for being left out. I didn't know what to think, but because I've dealt with her similar tendencies in the past, I forgot about it, especially because my husband and I still were focusing on trying to conceive through infertility, and I wanted to stay positive and focus on that. I had messaged her if I could take the girls out to hang out. I was left on red. For the next few weeks, I was left on red, or just got a short no. If anyone out there is a childless aunt or uncle who adores their little ones, you'd understand how much this hurt. Finally, I was tired of the lack of communication and demanded help as to when I could see them, or more than just a no again. She replied, "No, it's just no." And when I tried to call her immediately after, she'd blocked me. My heart was completely broken. She left me blocked for the next 8 months. I haven't seen her or the girls in person until I found out I was pregnant. I was so over the moon. I was so high, no one could touch me. I immediately told everyone, my parents and brother, since she still had me blocked. To my surprise, my sister had come to my door that day with congratulatory balloons. I was so confused since we hadn't talked for 8 months. We barely talked since she'd brought the girls with her, and I was playing with them until they left. Later that day, I got a text from an unknown number. It was my sister. She told me the reason she was upset with me was because I wouldn't watch my niece for free. She said, "Why would I be your surrogate when you couldn't watch your niece?" I was livid. The reason that I was pushed away from seeing the girls was because she was mad at me. I had seen her use the girls like that before, when our mom made her mad many years ago and she refused to let her see them, and even the eldest from her own father. Even though they have a court agreement and he's allowed to see her, I just never thought she'd do that to me. In her text, she explained that she wants to be there for me during my pregnancy, and that she basically couldn't go on without me knowing the reason for why I was upset, even though she had blocked me for 8 months without a reason as to why. I only responded with an, "I didn't know how much it had meant to you, and I'm sorry for that, but I have a busy and a house to run. I literally can't afford to take in children for free." I asked her to understand, but once again, she left me on red. Now that I'm 3 months pregnant, I'm not interested in trying to build a relationship with her or having her involved in the pregnancy. I feel like she put me in my place when she kept the children from me, and after countless times of asking to see them, I, very emotional right now me, can't take another rejection if I asked for them now. I'd rather just keep them all at a healthy distance. AITA, Story 4. AITA for refusing to have kid outings with my brother's kids. 26F, do kid outings with my kids and my nieces and nephews on occasion. I don't take them all together. I'll break it up by family. So my oldest sister's kids and mine, then middle sisters, then my SIL, husband's sister, and I have tried to include my brother's kids. But my brother's kids are proving to be a problem for me, and especially with the complaints from my brother's wife. So my brother's oldest is his stepdaughter. He has been raising her from the age of 4 with his wife, and after 4 years of marriage, they also have a 1-year-old together. She isn't treated any differently than any other nieces and nephews, but her behavior is too much for me, and even when I can kinda manage my decisions on how to cause his problems, she's more demanding and will argue to get me to buy her a toy and tantrums when told no, so I can avoid going near stores where she could see something in the window. But the problem is, I will have them for enough hours that food gets involved, and this is where my biggest problem remains. She'll order more food than she can eat, and if I say she needs to order less, and can get more if she's still hungry, she'll sneak up and try to order more. If it's a place not fast food, she will ask for dessert, and no lunch/dinner. If I say no, she screams. So I stopped having her as long, or I'd time it when I wouldn't need to buy her food. But my brother's wife did not like that. She told me I feed all the other kids, I should feed hers. Then she got pissed that I refused to spend the money on whatever she wanted me to order. I told her that's a lot of waste, both food and money. She told me it's not her problem. I told her I don't want it to be mine either. My brother told me I shouldn't treat her differently, and it's only going to cause more problems. I told him I don't enjoy doing this, but she does not respect being told no or being asked to wait. The crap I got from my brother's wife built until I was like, okay, I'm done. I can't win here. But now she's complaining because I don't take their kids on these outings. She told me I'm playing favorites with blood, even though the 1-year-old is blood, and I'm not asking to just take them. I told her I would not take them in the conditions they expect me to meet. AITA, just some examples of the food she demands. McDonald's order she will ask for: 50-piece nuggets, large fries, deluxe quarter pounder with cheese and 2 shakes with 2 ice creams. Local pizza place, her own large pizza, pasta bites, cheese pizza, and garlic breadsticks with a shared dessert. This is a dessert usually meant for 4. Sushi place, 4 sushi platters, 2 different kinds of fried rice, and a big dessert with 2-3 drinks. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you enjoyed our videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated with our latest ones. Have a great day.